Last weekend, I stepped into the arm wrestling world with my first ever super match, my first ever experience of a competitive arm wrestling event.
So unfortunately, we don't have the footage to use. People can still watch it though, can't they, on the Arm Wars official YouTube channel?
Yeah, so if anyone's interested in going to watch, if you become a member of Arm Wars, I was part of the live event. So it was an amazing day of arm wrestling. It's actually 4 incredible days of arm wrestling. A lot of these matches happening behind closed doors. They're going to be made into feature films. If you follow Arm Wars, you'll kind of get the idea of what they do. But they had a live day where fans were allowed to come watch, and then people could pay to watch the matches as members on the Arm Wars channel. So if you do want to see my match, plus the rest of the matches that happened that day, and there were some incredible ones, I was very, very lucky to experience so many incredible matches and see so many incredible arm wrestlers at my first event. It was very humbling and, you know, a really interesting experience for me.
So let's cut to the chase. Tell the people how you did. Right, first off, who were you up against?
So I was going up against a guy called Jim Beach. He is a high-level UK under 105 puller, particularly left hand. He came runner-up in the Nationals left-handed, but a very competent right-hand puller as well. We were pulling right hand to give me a little bit more of a chance. And James, he kicked my ass. You know, I'm not gonna. I think I did okay. I think I sort of held my own. He beat me 5-1. So in a super match format, it's over 6 rounds, which is pretty brutal, to be honest, for your first ever experience of arm wrestling. I'm used to arm wrestling in a club where people are being nice. You know, it's not so much about, you know, at the moment I'm just kind of learning the techniques, and it was a real eye-opener trying to get the setup right. And that is where the higher level, more experienced guys have a huge advantage.
And anticipating that ready go as well. But because you can't go early, can you?
No, you can't go early, obviously.
No, well,
and
obviously.
If you go, I mean, from what I've learned, you've got to kind of get away with as much cheating as possible. That's what I've learned from this weekend is
a bit like Strongman.
Is cheat as much as you can. But you know, I feel like I held my own, and I absolutely loved the experience. James was a gentleman, to be fair. Really, really nice guy. Great arm wrestler. Clearly more experienced than me. I did make him work hard though in a few rounds where he was very quick off the start compared to myself, who I'm a newbie. I'm sort of,
You're thinking about everything constantly.
Yeah, I mean, it was weird because Arm Wars is a huge event for arm wrestling, arm wrestlers and arm wrestling fans. We're one of the major arm wrestling promotions around the world. So here's me being like a strongman, just being thrown into that, getting this opportunity that I know there's much better arm wrestlers that would love that opportunity.
How do you feel about being fast-tracked ahead of maybe more deserving people?
Personally, I want more experience at a lower level.
Yeah.
I feel like I need it. It's weird with arm wrestling because, yes, I have strength.
Yeah.
But strength in something like boxing is only useful if you know technique and you can kind of connect that power. And it's the same with arm wrestling. My strength is starting to show when my technique improves. And my technique is improving slowly. In my first ever ready go, the technique faltered. And it faltered because I was against someone that knew how to manipulate my hand. He's a strong lad as well, very strong. And that first fraction of a second where you sort of lose your hand and then you're fighting it. I did manage to catch him a couple of times where my sort of grip strength, and I managed to hold onto his thumb, and then I was starting to take him. Most of the time he managed to get the slip. I did manage to hold onto that thumb and pinned him one round. In the straps, he was just too good. It's something I need a lot more experience in. Yeah. But like I said, I had such a good time. My arm was absolutely effed by the end of it.
On a scale of 1 to 10, when he had you in a tricky position, how much did you panic?
I actually coped pretty well. I wasn't panicking. I think because I've got so much experience of competing, I don't panic too much.
No.
The very first round, he beat me quickly. It was like a bit of a flash pin, and I was like, the one thing I didn't want to do was do 6 rounds of just being flash pin. I was like, if I stand up here and I just get hammered every single round, it's going to be embarrassing.
You can never show your face there again.
And that first round, he did pin me quickly. And I was like, okay, just calm down, think about what you've learned, try and put it into practice.
You're good at that.
Yeah, and it's one of the reasons I sort of wanted to make this video and give you guys a bit of feedback on how it went, is because you shouldn't be afraid to lose. A lot of people are, and I know this from coaching, a lot of people don't want to compete because they just want to win.
That's me.
We all love winning.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking back to my early days in Kung Fu, and I ended up being a British champion at Kung Fu. I played rugby for the Southwest. I was a high-level athlete. I competed in Strongman, obviously, for years.
Ping pong.
Table tennis, yeah. I got my ass kicked a number of times before I got good at any of those sports. And in losing, you learn a lot. So sometimes it's silly to sort of think, I'm not going to compete, because doing things in training is very different to doing under the pressure of competition. And a sport like arm wrestling, where that start is so important, what your opponent is doing is so important, you've got to be able to cope with all these different pressures. I learnt loads from just getting in there and having that experience. And I might get my ass kicked a number of times again, but I'm not afraid of that as long as I keep getting a little bit better. And I spoke to a lot of the arm wrestlers. I was kind of like picking their brains, getting an understanding. Some of them, who are now some of the well-established arm wrestlers, had terrible win-loss records to start with, but they kept putting themselves in there, kept getting better, kept learning little things, learning more and more about arm wrestling. And that's what I'm trying to do, and it's what I try and do with my strongman career. I was never afraid of going into a competition and getting beat. What I always wanted to do was get better, and that is the focus now moving forward with arm wrestling. I'm looking forward to getting back into training on Sunday.
How's your arm now?
It's just about recovering. It's taken almost a week to sort of get back to...
At first you were fine. You was like, oh yeah, it feels right. But then the next morning you woke up and you were like, my arm doesn't work.
It was weird. Like the day of the competition, the day of the matches, I was sore. Yeah. Like it was just like a real pumped up feeling, a little bit tender in the elbow and stuff. But I was okay. And then I got home the next day and I was sore. Yeah. The next morning after that, it was like, your first ever real hard training session.
Where you've gone stiff and you can't move.
Onset of DOMs. It was brutal. Yeah. And it's been like really sore for the last few days. It's now starting to ease up. I think our 4-year-old daughter could have beaten me at an arm wrestle the other day. It was quite bad at one stage, but it seems to have recovered okay now. I think we'll see how it feels on Sunday. It was just, such a fun experience doing something new and wanting to compete again. Yeah. That was the nice feeling for me. Obviously, I'm a strongman at heart. That is my love. I'll always be involved in strongman, but I need something to train for.
This will always be a strongman channel.
And arm wrestling, grip training, powerlifting stuff, that'll always keep me involved in training and making me get out the house, because I'd drive you nuts if I didn't go out and train.
Oh God.
I need to train. I need something to focus on.
We'd be divorced.
We could well be. But honestly, the guys, Neil Pickup is the man behind Arm Wars. He's got a great team working for him, putting brilliant productions on. But all the arm wrestlers that were there that weekend, every single one of them was so welcoming, gave me a lot of interesting feedback, really positive as well, which was nice because... you
need a little pick me up after being beat. Yeah.
I lost both my matches 5-1, so 2 super matches in the same day. Now, my second opponent was a guy called John Thompson. He is Uncle John, for people that don't know. He's got this kind of reputation of being a bad guy, but he's an absolute softie. Yeah. Lovely guy. Very experienced arm wrestler. I could feel that the power difference wasn't like... James was strong, whereas John was experienced. He could manipulate my already very fatigued arm, and he just knew the lanes to go to. I feel against John, in a shorter period of time, I'll be able to give him at least a competitive match or maybe even beat him. James is still a little bit... above. I spoke to Neil Pickup and he was, he was really positive. He said you did really well. You kind of showed that you've got potential. And he thinks I could be closer sooner than I think, and maybe I can. It's a matter of getting everything to connect, and I was just lacking that experience. But I'm hoping I will learn from it. I'll go away, listen to all the advice that I was given, put it into practice, and I'm looking forward to another opportunity. I really am. I want to keep arm wrestling. I want to arm wrestle in smaller competitions so I can get used to pulling lots of different people, because I think that's really important, not to be afraid to go and just pull in anything. I don't think just because I've come from being Europe's strongest man, I deserve to just be doing super matches or anything like that. I want to go and pull against absolutely everyone. I want to travel as much as I can, train with different people, and hopefully give myself 6 months to a year. We start seeing some good progress, maybe 2 to 3 years down the line. Who knows where it could be at. I'm a British champion in 3 different sports, so I thought 4 sports would be nice. That's kind of like the ultimate goal. If I could win a British Championships, but that's a long way off. Right now, it is about enjoying it and getting better, and that's what I've always done with every sport I've ever done. The moral of this kind of wrap up really is, if you are an athlete, don't be afraid to compete, because you learn so much in defeat. You really do. You don't learn a lot when you win. No. You just think, I'm the best. Yeah, I'm the best. When you go and you kind of, you don't let the whole situation get on top of you. You've got to kind of, get used to the bright lights, get used to the pressure, get used to what your opponent's doing. Same in Strongman, get used to different equipment, different venues, different, people that you're up against, different types of events. It all helps that experience when you go down the line. Because I don't look back on my Strongman career and think how many times I lost.
No.
You look back at what you won, what you achieved, and, it was a good career in the end. And you look at the best arm wrestlers, they've all lost loads of times. But when they get to that elite level, they use that experience, they've learned from it, and they get better. And that's kind of the moral of the story here. But I just wanted to do this video to say thank you to Arm Wars firstly, just to give me the opportunity. I know there's a lot of arm wrestlers that would love that opportunity, so I am very, very lucky. I want to say thank you to all the guys firstly the 2 guys that I pulled against, because they were brilliant. I'd love an opportunity to pull them again. But all the guys that were there having their own matches, some incredible arm wrestling matches took place. So if you are an arm wrestling fan, head over to Arm Wars. There's going to be lots of incredible matches to watch in the next few weeks. But I had an amazing time. You didn't get to come this time.
I didn't, but I'll take a thank you if you have one for me.
I'll thank Liz for letting me go and have the weekend off on my own, and you stayed home with the kids.
I did.
But no, it was really good fun, and I'm enjoying the arm wrestling journey. Can't wait to get back on the table. I've kind of switched now. I'm still arm wrestling, but I'm switched back to trying to lose some weight. So I've got about 15 weeks now till my 40th. That is when my goal is to look the best I've ever looked. So that's the goal up until the end of the year. Still be doing training, obviously, and then next year we might look at some grip comps, some powerlifting, and lots more arm wrestling.